Hi there, this is Tony from pianotone.ca, here today to talk about some exciting news from Roland. They've announced they are releasing upgraded versions of the FP30 to the FP30X, the FP60 to the FP60X, and the FP90 to the FP90X. So at the time of this announcement, I've had a Roland FP30 for about 6 months that I absolutely love, and I do have a full review on that piano that you can check out. But they've made some really cool and much needed additions to some areas of the FP30. So I don't have my hands on one yet, and it will probably be a while before I can get one that I can rent and actually test out for you. But all of the specs have been announced, so I would like to talk about those real quick. So let's check it out. Okay, so I've had my Roland FP30 for about 6 months now, and there's some things that I absolutely love about it, and then there's some things that I wish it had, most of which have been addressed with these upgrades to the FP30X. So the things that I absolutely love about my Roland are the action. It's a triple sensor, fully graded, fully weighted hammer action. Even has escapement, and it also has the simulated ebony and ivory key tops, so not the shiny, slippery plastic keys. Absolutely love the action on this piano, and I love playing it. The other thing I really like about it is the piano sounds. I think are fantastic. They're very full. There's a lot going on in the piano sounds, and they also have a lot of sound modeling going on with the dynamics. For example, when you hit a key harder, it doesn't just get louder. The sound actually changes to simulate what it's going to sound like when you play a real piano louder. So absolutely love those two things about the Roland. Now, here's some of the upgrades that are things that I had wished that the FP30 had that are great additions to the 30X. Okay, the first big improvement, and this is a much needed improvement, something I'm surprised that the Roland FP30 didn't have, is proper left and right 1/4-inch line outputs. That's how you connect your piano to a PA system, external amplifiers, audio interfaces, that type of thing. You can do it, and that's how I've been doing it, by taking your headphone jack and using a splitter cable to connect to that type of audio equipment. And I'm not a sound technician, and it's worked okay for me. It's made acceptable sounding videos, etc., and recordings, but there's no question that proper line-out jacks are going to be a big improvement. There would be, I'm sure, some people that considered this as a performance instrument, a gigging instrument to take out to shows, to play in public, that may have steered clear of it because it didn't have those jacks. So huge addition. The next big thing is Bluetooth audio in. Now, Roland does have Bluetooth on the FP30, but it's only for MIDI data, so that you can connect to a computer or to a tablet or device or whatever that has software running on it that can understand MIDI data, so like GarageBand or whatever. And a lot of the marketing for the FP30 did have, in big flashing letters, Bluetooth. And there are a lot of people, posts I've read online, people complaining, thinking that because it had Bluetooth, they could stream music from their device, their iPhone or whatever, and have it come out of the piano speakers so they could play along with it. Not the case, just MIDI data. But with the FP30X, you can now stream Bluetooth audio data using Bluetooth to the FP30X, so huge addition. Okay, another improvement is Roland has added a desktop speaker setting. The Roland FP30 speakers face downwards, so if you put it on a table as opposed to a stand where it's open, then you can get a really muffled sound from the speakers. So for example, on my piano table that I built myself here, I actually cut holes in the shelf to match where the FP30 speakers were, so that I wouldn't have that problem. But Roland has added a setting where you can specify that it is being played on a table, and that does some type of modification to the speakers. I can't test that because I don't have an FP30X to try it out with, but it is a feature that other pianos have had for a while. The Yamaha P125 has a desktop speaker setting as well. So it's not all that new, but it's probably a welcome addition. Another good addition is they've doubled the polyphony from 128 to 256. So you can now sound 100 or 256 notes before you would drop off the first note that you played, as opposed to 128. 128 was never a problem for me. might have been for some more accomplished musicians, but 256 is definitely a massive improvement there. So now also improvements in the voices. There's 46 voices on the FP30X. There was 35 on the FP30, but they haven't just added 11 voices. They've actually replaced a whole bunch of voices with, from what I can tell from the YouTube videos I've watched so far, much improved ones. Now, I mentioned I love the piano sounds, and I don't think they've changed those at all. They may have, but they still sound the same to me, and they sound really good. The one place where the FP30 I think lacked a little bit in its sounds is the electric piano sounds, like the Rhodes wasn't really the greatest, but they've, I think, improved those sounds quite a bit. Again, I don't have one here to test for myself, but I'm just basing that on the promotional videos that I've listened to. So those are features that have been added to the FP30X. Has anything been taken away? Answer is yes. The FP30 had 8 onboard rhythms, and when you used the Piano Partner 2 app on your device, that added another 42 rhythms, as well as some basic accompaniment with some basic options. Now there's no rhythms or accompaniment options with the FP30X, none on board, and there's none within the new app either. The FP30X does not work with Piano Partner 2. It has a new app for that piano. Now, since I play mostly modern music, rhythms were a feature that I was really looking forward to the FP30, and to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed in how they worked after owning the piano for a few months. I could only find 2 or maybe 3 usable rhythms with the on-board ones. There was a decent syncopated one and a couple of decent swing rhythms, but there was no decent straight country or 3/4 rhythms on board. The only 3/4 that was an onboard rhythm was a marching band rhythm, which doesn't really work well for the kind of music I was playing. Now, the 42 additional rhythms in the Piano Partner 2 app was an improvement, but they're also still lacking some common rhythm types. There were also some kind of flaky issues with the accompaniment, detecting chords properly, depending how you were playing. And the app also has to be the active window on the device for the rhythm and accompaniment to work. Otherwise, it would cut out, and I found that very frustrating because I was trying to switch from, like, start the rhythm up, switch to a like a chord chart or a lyric sheet or something, and as soon as you do that, the rhythm stops. So given that the rhythms, in my opinion, didn't really turn out as useful as I had hoped, I don't think it's a huge loss from the FP30X, although my preference would have been that they would have improved the rhythm and accompaniment instead of just taking it away. So differences in apps that are available for the FP30X. As I mentioned, Piano Partner 2 does not work with the FP30X. They have a new app called Piano Every Day. That app seems to be really, from what I've seen online, seems to be very focused on tracking your progress and providing music sheets for you to play along with. I believe it's even hooked up to an online music search service or something where you can download chord charts and music sheets and then have the piano app display them to you, turn pages and that type of thing. There's also now the FP30X can also access the Piano Designer app, which was an app that Roland already had, but wasn't compatible with the FP30. And that's where you can make kind of more fine-tuned adjustments to your piano sounds. So simulating opening the lid on a grand piano or closing the lid and that type of thing. Okay, so verdict on the Roland FP30X. Well, I have to admit that I haven't actually seen one or played one or touched one or heard one. Given that it is taking the FP30, which I'm extremely familiar with, and just adding some features to it that are much needed in my opinion, I think it's pretty much a no-brainer that the FP30X is a huge, huge improvement. It takes the best features of the FP30, which is amazing action and great piano voices, and adds some improved voices, in particular the electric pianos, and multiple much needed improvements. Dedicated line outputs and having a Bluetooth audio in are all fantastic additions to the piano. The only thing I wish they had done is instead of taking the rhythms away, I wish they had improved the rhythm and accompaniment. That would have really been nice, but you can't have everything. So, and as far as pricing goes, that's really why I say that this is pretty much a no-brainer. Is the pricing I've seen so far is that the Roland FP30X only sells for about $30 or $40 US more than the Roland FP30. So for all of those extra features, I think it's a pretty obvious choice if you're looking for a Roland FP30. So with all that in mind, I would definitely recommend this piano if it fits with your needs and your budget. And if you're not too concerned about any of the additional features with the FP30X, then you might want to keep your eyes peeled for maybe some discounted prices on FP30s once this piano gets a little bit more out into the market. So if you want to check out current prices for the FP30 and the FP30X, I've got links below to my Amazon affiliate account. And you can also check out the link to my review on the Roland FP30. So thanks a bunch and happy piano shopping. Have a good day.